I told him he's sitting next to the legend, and I think he was looking left. I go, what?
Anything.
You got something to read for a change?
New lease on life.
How are you, Rick? Yes, he's got the black, yeah. 36 years. Yeah.
How are you?
Dan,
Yeah.
I think the point guard,
It's been a long day.
if Underwood will loosen up,
Tuesdays are long.
is that Dre Gibbs Law? I'm saying it right?
He's the point guard?
He's a combo guard with a lot of talent, but here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna sit, and a year from now,
He's just it. You're making it.
That's not true.
Right?
he's, we could be, what's worth the oldest team in the country.
Something
We
earlier
got 6 guys.
about it. Yeah.
It's funny, keep telling people to get mad at me. Well, you can't be negative.
He takes.
Did you watch the offense last year?
Don't take it.
He's too rich. But my problem is too rich. You can't change.
I want 25 days.
When something's out there, he won't come off of it.
You guys are gonna be prepared for my 45-minute presentation.
Ready?
You guys ready to go?
Most people get 3 minutes, he gets 1.
Fine.
That much?
Yeah, we're gonna give him 1.
Time.
You time that.
Hope you know what you're doing.
I'll be happy to
Then
keep
go
aside
south
for
on
that.
You know the big old spot, right? Right, if I go over.
Yeah. He's got the take. I keep the timer, he's got the pace.
And that damn thing's horrible.
We'll make sure we get that recorded. He's walking around the floor.
Cox gone, or is he gonna call in?
He's gone.
Is he, where'd he go? Don't
I
know.
don't know.
Wherever Dave goes.
Where Dave wants to go?
Yeah, he's on
My
vacation.
wife said, you asked him to make
I don't understand why we can't get point guard. One that's not head case.
I saw the note.
I remember
I'll give her a call later.
Okay.
my birthday, Mark,
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
wife's birthday party,
Well,
2017.
you call.
House Brothers. She just went up, gave Bill a bunch of
Worried
money.
about where.
It's when Underwood got announced. So the Illinois fans, me, Whitworth, so it was just so fun. And then this press conference, we'll go shoot the ball under 7 seconds before going.
I don't love that theory anyway.
Dribble, clock.
I figured it would.
Well, I don't like that either, but I'm not up for chucking it up to real 7 seconds.
We could be all right, but
It's left over.
everybody came back in the Big Ten. It's gonna be tough.
We just didn't have it.
I just want, I'm serious, you're bad. Well, look at the Big Ten, I don't want Big Ten championships. Hey, second weekend in March. There you go.
That's the next one. He's got to go there.
And I helped them. Where's San Diego State Hampshire Conference?
But you have a dumpster fire.
Ideally, I'd try to give it like at least like.
And there's no excuse at 21 and getting beat by Loyola. You can treat like that till the hours go, man.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, we are though.
He didn't take them seriously.
You'll be.
That nut, you messed with that nut.
I feel like most people don't even know. This
Well, last year, we were not ready. Did you go to Bragging Heights?
I did.
We weren't ready to play. How's that happen?
The funniest part was that, you know, that's the game when Underwood started to start wearing a suit again. He never put his tie back up. I've been saying, those guys ought to start dressing like guys that make 7 figures together. It's time to put your suit back on. The Missouri guys came out, their coaching staff, sharp suits, looking good. They looked professional, and Brad Underwood came out in a big orange moo and ran out of the gym. And it looked bad at the sideline, bad on the floor.
What's this hiding?
And from at that point, all these assistant coaches put their suit tie back on. He put his coat on. You know, but you got embarrassed in a lot of ways.
Oh, I see. We ready?
Yep.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
And roll call.
Mr. Clausen.
Here.
Mr. Cox. Mr. Graven. Here. Mr. Phipps.
Here.
Commissioner Hall, excuse me, Mayor Hall.
Here.
One Commissioner Toots.
Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will occur unless a council member requests the item to be removed from the consent agenda. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be considered elsewhere on the agenda for this meeting. Prior to asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, the mayor will ask if anyone desires to remove an item from the consent agenda for public discussion. Would anybody like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of May the 16th, 2023, the bills and payroll for the last half of May 2023, and the home rehab checks are approved. Can I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Phipps, and roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Mr. Graven. Yes. Mr. Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Presentations, petitions, and communications. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for persons who desire to address the council. The Illinois Open Meetings Act mandates that the city council may not take action on comments received on matters that have not been identified on the agenda. But the council may direct staff to address the topic to refer the matter for action on the agenda for another meeting. Persons addressing the council are requested to limit their presentation to 3 minutes and to avoid repetitious comments. We would also ask you state your name and address for the record as well as stand when speaking. We do have people online, so if you want to speak, yes, we'd like for you to come up front and tell us your name and whatever you want to talk about.
No.
My name is Rebecca Darling. I'm from 3413 Prairie Avenue. And I just have a question to ask the council. I got a letter from an organization that is concerned about the open border and concerned about non-documented immigrants being settled various places. And they are concerned that Mattoon might be considered a sanctuary city.
I hope so.
And what I'm wondering is, how does that happen? I mean, I don't know. Can you explain to me the process and at what point the people in the city can vote on it or?
Yeah.
Or do we get to vote or not?
Well, the city citizens wouldn't get to vote, I don't think. But we have not been approached by anybody about this. We would have to take some action to do that. And we have not, this group has not discussed this because we haven't got anywhere near that close to doing anything. So right now, again, I don't, somebody may want to make some comments about it, but Dan, I don't know.
I'm not sure what the question is.
Oh,
We're not
Is, how does a city become a sanctuary? Who initiates the process? And is it like in response to maybe a ruling that has been made at the state level that we disagree with? Or at the federal level that we disagree with? And at what point, I'm sure you would put it on your agenda so that the people would know. But how much input do we have or?
A sanctuary city for,
immigrants that came.
Coming across Texas.
Champaign has.
sanctuaries.
I think Chicago is, right?
It is.
well, it would absolutely have to be on the agenda. It would have to be an item that's posted.
Being a first generation born in this country, both sides of my family.
It isn't exactly that I'm worried about it, I wouldn't want it to happen. But then I've been wondering about sanctuary cities for some time.
Then worry about all the immigrants that's in the military.
Well, I'm not in the military, but this is close to home.
Yeah.
That's why
I'm sure you're going to hear about it if we.
Right. If there's something, a pronouncement to come out of this council, it will definitely be put on an agenda. Will have to be published in the usual fashion and it would be up for discussion. So it won't slip by you in any way. It will have to be published.
Right.
Is there any time a citizen can request that we be named a sanctuary city or on any policy. For example, there are cities that have declared themselves as sanctuary cities against abortion. How does that start? Someone comes to the city council and makes a request, and you folks discuss it, and whatever you decide, you either pursue it or you don't.
Well, that's how any topic works. These are the 5 people that have been elected to make those decisions. If something gets put on the agenda, they discuss it and they vote.
Nobody on the council so far has discussed either one of those items. I will tell you that. So
Thank
you
you.
get that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Again, give us your name.
John Durham, I live at 8 law. You know, I'm gonna ask you 3 right here. You 2, Grace, you can stick your head up and look.
Oh, sorry, no, I was writing.
I want to ask you 3, honest, the reason why you voted against tax relief for me.
What do you mean voted against tax relief?
Yeah. You know, if there was a dispensary in this town, I'd have some tax relief. I want to know your honest answer.
How-
What's your reason? Because, you know, through the Freedom of Information Act, it's a real good thing. And when you 3 come out and said it was because of the daycare, when I went to the Freedom of Information Act and found out, and the daycare that you're talking about, it shouldn't even be there. You know how many times the law's been called to the dispensary in Charleston? 0. You know how many times they've been called to the Moose and Mattoon? 12. How many arrests do you think there's been, Sam? Have they been called to the Moose?
Probably have.
How many arrests are made, drugs over there in that neighborhood? Now, you voted for that daycare to be put there. You didn't go through the Freedom of Information Act. You voted for that daycare to be put there. You didn't go through the Freedom of Information Act to find out if them kids be safe. You wasn't on the board yet. All 3 of you sat here and lied about everything because none of you do your job. Get your religion out of politics and politics out of religion in this damn town, and maybe you clean up some of this white trash around here.
Anybody else like to come forward? Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
My name is Kim Edwards, and I am representing the whole.
Can you kind of talk into the mic a little bit? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Kim Edwards, and I am representing the Polk County Council on Aging, also known as the Lifespan Center or the Dial-A-Ride Program. We're all of those things. I wanted to take the opportunity to come tonight just to talk a little bit about this folder that the commissioners and the mayor received last week.
Everybody got a copy of that on the council,
Yes.
right?
Do you need any more copies of that?
Not necessarily, do we? All right, go ahead.
It's just enclosed. It has a letter. It's a funding request application for us. We are asking for a little bit of increased funding through the agency. It also outlines our services and our programs that we offer to the Mattoon residents, along with some data that directly tells how we serve just the residents of Mattoon. So I really just encourage all of you to read over it and reach out to me if you have any questions or any feedback on how we can better serve the community.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions anybody has?
Brief comment, actually.
ahead, go ahead.
So they're actually working with Coles County Regional Planning on our transportation plan for the whole county. And, you know, we did reduce their funding recently. And quite honestly, I think it's an essential service that, you know, many people in our community that don't have access to transportation, you know, rely on. And so, you know, I believe, you know, feel free to correct me, but for, you know, every amount that's given to them, they get about 75% in state or federal funding on top of that through something called, in an odd name, DOPE funds. And so, you know, I mean, if we were to go back to the original level that we were funding them at, I think we'd be able to see increased service in our community for residents, but that's just me.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, anybody else like to come forward? Anything to say? Okay, we're going to move to,
Just
we're going to move to acknowledging one of our long-term employees, Kevin Hamilton, and I think Commissioner Phipps is going to have something to say.
Sure. Gosh. It's my pleasure tonight that we recognize certainly a long-term loyal career guy, Kevin Hamilton. 36 years, right? Started in June of '87. You've seen a lot. You've seen a lot and done a lot. You've done a lot of all the various positions, literally from the ground up. Literally from the ground up, and from day one, you also took initiative, certainly, and finished as the lead dog, right, of Public Works. And I personally want to thank, I've only been your commissioner for a couple of years now, but I feel like I've known you for a long time. Our kids kind of grew up together. In fact, Randy and my daughter were on the same T-ball team, right? Years and years ago. So, in fact, 20 years ago, small world, we were at Disney World, my family, and we get on the tram or just get off the tram of one of the parks, and there's the Hamiltons. So kind of a unique story, but anyway, I digress on that, but it's certainly been my pleasure. I know Sandy's been your commissioner a lot longer than me, and of course you worked for Dean all this time, and I just want to wish you the best in your retirement and the next season of your life. And I know your family's all here. So I'd like for you to introduce them. Dean, did you have any comments that you'd like to add?
That was nice enough that I'm not going to take much time on it. Not that other than to say thank you very much. Really appreciate it. You're welcome.
Sandy, do you have?
It was hard to consolidate because I looked at your background and resume. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's gone all over the place with the city, and have been very, very loyal. So, and that's really, that to me is the heart of everything, is your loyalty and commitment to the city and the citizens. So I want to appreciate you, and I don't know if anybody else has any comments, but we do have a plaque. I want to get you. Present it to you.
Yeah, we're going to get a picture up here, I think.
Yeah.
Presented Kevin Hamilton Appreciation Cert for the city of Manhattan, 88, 2023. And correct for 87, Junior 87?
It was summer help was 87, so
Yeah. I sure appreciate it.
thank you.
You want to get the whole family in there?
Youngest son, Quincy.
Okay, Quincy?
Hi, Quincy.
Middle Sal, Rainey.
Yeah.
Oldest Sal, Randy. Baby granddaughter, Anderson. With my son-in-law, Lucas, my wife.
And the boss. You said
And the
boss.
boss.
Let's get this perfectly straight.
Last but the best.
Go ahead, get in there.
No, stand back there.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Meeting to start like that.
Thank you.
Oh, well, that's why we got white shoulders.
You're not moving
That's all
far
right.
away, so I'm just. Walk.
Congratulations. Good seeing you again.
I do want to say thanks. The city provided me my family. Provided full-time membership. It's been a good job. I'm tickled to death that I was able to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, and I think you maybe stay a few minutes, I don't know. We're going to go on to new business, though. I got the first item. I am moved to approve council decision request 2023-2370, ratifying the reappointment of Laura Huddleston and Phyllis Carpus and the appointment of Karen Edwards to the Mattoon Public Library Board for terms ending on June the 30th of 26. And can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Commissioner Graven, and any comments anybody has? I've talked to all these people and asked them if they wanted to, one of them is new, but I think the others are returning, and they're all excited about all the things going on at the library, I can tell you that. So with that said, and we have a roll call.
Commissioner Raven. Yes. Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve council decision request 2023-2371, authorizing the employment of Talon Trummel as meter reader 2 in the finance department with an annual salary of $37,024, effective June 8th, contingent upon successful completion of a drug screening and background check.
Second on that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Clausen, and any comments anybody wants to make?
So we lost our meter reader several weeks ago. Public Works has been helping out. Really appreciate that. And he's got a plumbing background. I think he'll be a good fit.
Good deal. All right. Roll call.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven. Yes. Mayor Hall.
Yes.
A motion to adopt the resolution number 2023-3250, approving the supplemental funding of motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $111,567.95 for the milling, patching, resurfacing of the roads and improving ADA ramps located between 43rd Street and 19th Street, and authorizing the city clerk to sign the document.
Can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Clausen. And any comments anybody have to say?
This is for the work that IDOT did. It's found in Army. I think that now.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven. Yes. Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2023-2372, approving the consultant cost proposal in the amount of $47,500 from Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated for the design of the sanitary sewer piping from the Mattoon Sports Complex to the city's wastewater treatment plant, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement for professional consulting services.
Second to that motion?
I'll second.
Commissioner Graven, and any comments on that? Anybody?
I'll just say that the city has the lead on this particular portion of the line. There was not sufficient sanitary sewer capacity in the area for the sports complex to connect to. With whatever work we are doing, we are going to design that such that it has future benefits to the city of Mattoon in terms of being able to connect from that general area southeast.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
A motion to approve council decision request 2023-2373, approving the plans and specifications for the 2023 street resurfacing project.
And can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Clausen, and any comments on that? Anybody? No. Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2023-2374, approving the waiver of formal bidding requirements and approving the price quote from Curry Construction in the amount of $35,354 for repairs to one of the secondary digester lids at the wastewater treatment plant.
And a second on that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Commissioner Phipps, and any comments on that one?
I'll just say that one of the living lids at the wastewater treatment plant is in need of repairs. We got quotes from the two contractors that do most of our work, Curry Construction, Locker Construction. You see Curry was at 35, Locker was at 56. So work on that. Anyway, if the quotes are approved.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
A motion to approve council decision request 2023-2375, awarding the bid in the amount of $146,432 from Bartels Construction for the Lafayette Avenue Sidewalk Project.
And a second on that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Clausen, and any comments on that one? All right, roll call.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
A motion to approve council decision request 2023-2376, awarding the bid in the amount of $142 per cubic yard from Mid-Illinois Concrete, Inc. for the MFT General Street Maintenance Ready Mix concrete.
Second on that motion,
I'll second.
Commissioner Graven, and roll call. Well, excuse me, any comments or questions anybody has? Okay, now roll call.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
And a motion to adopt special ordinance number 2023-1860, ratifying the promotion and employment agreement for Alexandra Fuqua for the Public Works Superintendent position with an annual salary of $78,000 effective June 1st, 2023, due to the retirement of Kevin Hamilton.
And a second on that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Clausen, comments?
I'll just say that Alice has been the assistant superintendent at the street department for 5 years. Before that, he was the wastewater superintendent for the city of Arcola for 5 years. And he's had a farming background behind that.
Great. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2023-2377, approving the bid specifications and authorizing the solicitation of bid for the lead-based paint remediation project of City Hall.
Second on that motion,
Second.
Commissioner Phipps. And any questions, comments? This is one I know that Kyle's been working on, and we're trying to get this thing going, so. Roll call.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2023-3251, supporting the hosting of an AmeriCorps NCCC team to build trail systems at Lake Paradise and authorizing the funding of up to $9,000 for housing expenses.
Second for that motion,
I'll second that.
Commissioner Phipps, any comments on this project?
Yeah, I'd be happy to expand upon that. So we're talking about 110 acres of city property, not directly next to residential areas or anything like that, creating about 5 miles of trail. This is part of a larger planning effort in the community where essentially, we would be ideally in the future connecting the Lincoln Prairie Grass Trail all the way down to Lake Mattoon. But in order to better incentivize that, you kind of need things to do at both the lakes. And so developing trail systems in those areas, quality of life as an economic development strategy is a really great thing for our community from a planning perspective and, employee recruitment perspective. More things to do, more people want to be here. And yeah, they won't be starting until September. We submitted our application today and should hear back. Our concept form has been approved, but the official grant application was submitted today. Plenty of time to modify plans between now and September, but really excited and happy to take any questions.
And this project will be completed this year?
Yeah, they would be here from September 15th to November 7th, a team of 8 to 12 AmeriCorps members.
And they'll all be staying at Camp New Hope, that's what
Yes.
that money's for?
Yeah, primarily they'd be staying at that location. That's the lodging. And that we've been quoted about $8,400 for the total lodging. It would be 2 cabins that are gender separated, which is a requirement of the program. And beyond that, we could actually reduce that bill if they're willing to, kind of maintain their trail system at Camp New Hope on the optional Friday work plan. So, great news all around.
Yeah, everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think that's going to be a great look for Lake Paradise, plus kind of more people there to kind of police it a little bit too. So, good work.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Can the public ask
Yes.
questions?
Yes,
Commissioner Raymond,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
go Dave.
It looks like we might have somebody that unmuted that's trying to talk
Oh, I'm sorry.
potentially.
Who is that?
Susan Harding.
Yeah, not hearing
Susan
anything
Harding.
coming through, Susan, if you're speaking.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me now?
Susan, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
He's talking right now.
She's trying.
She's talking, but it's not coming through
Yeah,
here.
surely muted.
Hmm.
Did.
You can ask.
Yeah, we,
Say Angela.
audio's on.
Okay, and I have mine.
Would you be able
unmuted.
to type your question in? Yeah, could you type your question in the chat or call?
Highlight Susan. Yeah, she's on mute.
No,
Yeah.
that would be to mute her.
Now she's.
Now she's muted herself, and so I'd hit unmute.
I am unmuted.
See if she can chat.
Isn't-
Take a look here.
There's not a number to call in on, is there?
We don't have.
Yeah, not seeing any chat stuff come up there either.
I can hear Susan. Angela says she can. hear
You
us.
can hear her, okay.
Can you hear me?
Angelina, interpret.
I don't know if you can hear me or
Can
not.
we hear Angelia?
What's that?
Can we?
Yeah, can we hear you, Angelia? Would you mind unmuting?
I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me?
She's talking as well.
Yeah, interesting.
It's not
I
them.
can hear Angelia.
No, neither one of them. We can't hear either one.
Yeah.
They can clearly hear us.
Yeah, I
Yes.
followed everything on here. Dang.
Okay.
I am still trying
If
to.
there's something if there's something you want to ask.
There you go. She
Oh.
just typed the chat.
Oh, she did.
We'll be on the east or west side. So there is city property on the, I want to say west side, that used to have a campground. And so it would be on that side. And then there is some on the east side where the cemetery is. And then directly past the road to the north there is also where another section of trail would be made. There's about 4 sections. And from there, I would say the closest one to residential properties would be on the west side. But again, we're talking 500 to 1,000 feet of separation with plenty of trees in between that don't have trail systems on them. I did notice that there is a note on my desk right when I came here saying that you had called earlier, and you were on my list of people to call first thing in the morning tomorrow. If you'd like to discuss further, I'll also be happy to go get coffee and talk about the project if you're interested.
The one key thing this trail will do, it will enable people to walk completely around the lake in a much safer manner, because today you have to go on that road that goes by the old ponds, and the traffic is very heavy there. This will open that up. Actually, there was an old trail back there a long time ago. And so we're going to open that back up again and give people the ability to walk around Lake Paradise virtually.
She's got another comment. If you
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and so it says, I'm on the north end of the East Lake Paradise and believe that trails will result in dangerous activities by visitors. To that, I'd say that, we can definitely address security concerns of that area, but right now it's completely unsupervised. More eyes on the trail, more people there would probably inhibit instances of drug dealing, fire set, dumping of waste, like you're saying, if there's more people there. One of the key components of planning and community development from, an industry standard book, The Life and Death of Great American Cities, written by Jane Jacobs, who's a pioneer in this field, talks about eyes on the street, right? And so if you have invested community members that are out there enjoying a community amenity, they're going to be more likely to step up and, get in the way of folks that are trying to dump waste and do things, which right now, the only people that are able to do that are residents who probably work full time and aren't home, and folks that, might be fishing in that area. But if you have more people coming out there for trails, might have those instances of crime that you're citing. But I definitely would love to, connect with you outside of this meeting and speak about that.
Sam, is that you guys or is it the county?
That's county.
Did you read that
Okay.
comment?
Excuse me? Yeah, so you're going to commit to get back with her.
Yeah, I will absolutely connect with her tomorrow
And
morning.
to see what we find out. Okay.
Perfect.
And again, we do apologize about the technical issues here. We followed all the instructions that were on there, so our apologies.
Okay. Everybody else prepared to go on?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-3252, approving an agreement between the City of Mattoon and the Illinois Commerce Commission for railroad crossing signal improvements on 32nd Street, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
I don't think we voted on the last one.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, there was a comment immediately after.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Okay. So now we just read motion number 2023-3252, and we need a second to that motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Raven, and any comments about this item? This is, of course, right there by Lytle Park. I think everybody knows where that crossing is. We talked about this before a little bit. That'll be the first time there's been a gate up at that crossing. Right. And by the way, the city is not involved in the financing of this at all. This is between IDOT and railroad, right?
The Illinois Commerce.
Okay. All right. All right, then we're ready for roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. The last part of the meeting tonight is the department reports and then comments by council. And we're going to start with, Kyle Gill, city administrator, is not present tonight. I do know, and I know the council members have seen his weekly report, but just to hit some highlights, he's been working on phase 2 of the sports complex, focusing on rezoning and infrastructure. And on, that's phase 1. On phase 2, I know he's working on budgets and platting and TIFs related to that sports complex again. I know that there's a report that came from Rural King about the ICSC Retail Recruitment Conference, and that went very well to support the sports complex. The other thing I wanted to mention is there was a housing meeting last week, and we are working diligently to identify properties and do some survey work to clean and demolish property that is in bad repair. We've been trying to get this done for a while, and we continue to do that. That's really all I really wanted to comment that I know of on Kyle's. He's done a lot of other things this last week, and he's on vacation this week. So next one we'll go to is this City Attorney Dan Jones.
Couple things for me, business as usual, of course, but we have a telephonic status hearing with the judge on the Quackenbush matter tomorrow. Tim was supposed to submit whatever evidence he wanted to show of progress by the end of May. I got an email from his lawyer right before I came here. I haven't had a chance to review it yet, so I don't know what's in there, but it's a telephonic hearing. We'll see what is accomplished there tomorrow about his progress. Monday, we have Mattoon City Court, its first appearance hearing on the Brown Shoe Factory demolition. I drove by before the meeting tonight. There's not been much progress in the last several weeks, so we'll address that with the judge on Monday and see if we can get an order requiring the demolition of that property.
Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah. City Clerk Susan O'Brien.
Pretty much so, business as usual.
Okay. Any questions for Susan? Finance, Beth Wright.
I wanted to go over the revenue tracking. Month of May is complete. We also have video gaming revenues for June on the report. Compared to the prior fiscal year, the total is down about $141,000. And categories that are down are utility tax, income tax, gaming tax, and personal property replacement tax. So I just want to watch it carefully. I'm getting the feeling that things are going to be relatively flat. We did get word from IML that the LGDF percentage had increased by about 5%. And what that's going to mean for the city is about $132,000 of additional revenue for the state income tax, same thing. Unrestricted cash in the general fund tonight is just under 10.5 million. And at the last council meeting, it was 11.1, but we haven't received our shared revenue yet. Sales tax should be coming in any day now. And otherwise, I'm preparing for the audit. The 23rd is the deadline to submit our documentation.
With our new auditors, by the way. Is that going okay? I mean, reasonably well?
Good. I mean, it's remote. I think there will be more work on our end.
Good.
Scanning documents and uploading things.
Okay.
And that's a 3-year contract with Roth, correct? Good deal.
Any other questions we have for Beth? Okay, Public Works, Dean Barber.
The biggest news is that Ameren has announced their summer electric rate. It is 7.8 cents a kilowatt hour versus 12.25 that everybody's been paying all winter. That's a 35% reduction in that cost. The average reduction in credit per homeowner is $35 a month, average bill. And as you may recall, in our electric aggregation program, we were made an offer last fall to 11.8 cents for 2 years, which we could find. And out of that program, we went to Ameren on purpose in the hopes that, and that the price would trend as well. It was not. So really good news for everyone in the community there. We held citywide cleanup on Saturday. It was an overwhelming success, to say the least. My street. We are, I will just say In terms of future improvement, on the event, electronics have become such a big deal for disposal. That I think in the future, we're gonna have to have a separate site for electronics and a separate site for our trash, because it was too many people and too much material. Counting hundreds and hundreds of people. Everything from a normal human TV to old projection style TVs from the 80s, as far as you. But anyway, we will do something different next year. I don't manage that situation. Our own thing. That was something like that.
Any?
I think traffic was in blocks long.
Oh, you got me to work.
Yeah.
Well, I was on 6th Street at 7:45 before it even started. And then went all the way, Logan. So it took me over an hour. I was there before it even started. They were working as fast as they could. And Chris was driving traffic like crazy. It was definitely,
Definitely an annual necessity, I think.
it's been 3 years since we had it, so.
Yeah.
And so,
It's still a very worthwhile project. It's
Oh,
just,
for sure.
just overwhelmed. And I think, there was a lot of activity around that area. That didn't help any. But I think, if you can have two different ways to handle the electronics separately, that could help a lot. But yeah, so we got some time to plan for the next one. Any other questions?
I'll start the next drive because I have a TV still in the bed of my truck because I didn't make it over there in time. So
1980s?
no, about
most people
10
have,
years.
almost every customer to show you like retail.
That's where they're disposable now.
Yeah.
And that's people just throw them away.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Jeff Hilgos, Fire Department?
Thank you, Mayor. Since our last meeting, the guys have answered 123 calls for service. Inspectors have done 4 inspections and follow-ups. We were out at the New Best Western, the Old Hampton Inn, doing their alarm and sprinkler system final, which they passed. And so they were bringing in quite a few folks now that they can stay there legally, working around the clock. And he was hoping to have a June opening.
The June opening.
Is what he told us. I think that's a little, they still got quite a bit of work, but it's looking pretty good in there. So, we had the fire a couple weeks ago. I'd like to thank Dean's crew again. That is, took a little longer than I had hoped, but it wasn't their fault. It was dumpsters trying to get them rotated out. But that is now leveled off, and Dean, thanks again. And those guys worked hard at that. My guys did ARF training and technical rescue rope training the last couple of weeks. And then got word today that Jessica, our new ambulance billing person, she passed her coding certification class today. So
Good deal.
she flies back tomorrow and should be back in the office on Thursday. So
Perfect.
that was all I had, unless anybody has any questions.
On that fire that you had over on Champaign, that's the one you were talking about. Is that, are you talking about
No, not Champaign.
Richmond.
Richmond? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right across the street from the Y.
Yeah, that house, of course, literally burnt to the ground. And that house was completely demolished and carried away, and most of it filled in a week's time.
They had it in a pile, and it would have been a week. Within a week,
Can't seem to hear me, but I'm texting them.
we've been able to keep dumpsters.
Don't fill that turtle down there.
But they
Because-
wanted
because
within
it's rough,
30 minutes it was full.
And then this
And then
guy,
we wait
well, that's
for the next day for them to
Take me down there. I said, don't tell me, you don't
But
live
they
there.
did a fabulous
I
job.
know what goes on there.
Very good.
Up in the
Secured lighting for the last 18 years.
Any questions anybody has for Jeff?
Last 18 years
Police
on
Chief
city
Sam Gates.
property because the city doesn't
So
take
in
care
the
of it.
last 2 weeks, I forgot it's been 3 weeks since we last met, so I'll say in the last 2 weeks, we've had 1,006 calls for service. There were 44 arrests that were made, and other than that, got nothing else.
I'm on the north end of
Any
East Lake
questions?
Paradise and believe the trails will result in dangerous activity by visitors. I already have to deal with individuals, drug dealing, fire thefts, dumping of waste. I have paid for the security lighting at the edge of the city property for 19 years because of the city not caring for this area that is city owned. I do want to discuss
I see.
this before action is taken. I am very supportive of increasing recreation in the Lake Paradise area. However, the city council needs to be extremely mindful of the lack of current care and for 18 years not providing adequate care for city property by my residents before approving a trail system development on the north end of Lee's
The
Lake
court
Paradise.
system, they won't get convicted if they're not.
Everything looks and sounds good on paper, but
Well,
none of it
no,
live where I live.
the
And so
court
the dangerous
system
actions
that
and
we got
behaviors
is county's looking at
of
something.
individuals frequently the north end
The
of
body
East Lake
worn
Paradise.
cameras are a blessing, you know, they're
No, they are.
they're gonna be a mandate soon by the state. Luckily, we jumped on it
This
early,
area is
and I
within
can't say
Coles
good
County
enough.
Sheriff's Office and rarely patrols this area or responsive in a timely manner to manage the hazards.
They are a good thing, they're a great
It
thing,
is
and I
not
mean, they
true
collect
developing
evidence
the
of what's
trail
going
system on
on,
the north
how
end of
how
East
much
Lake
better could
Paradise.
you get?
I will be,
That's
because
true.
it
It's
will
not
become more
our word
dangerous,
against
not
someone
less,
else's word
by the
now,
types of
that's all.
individuals that use
That's
drugs.
right.
Can't report it, so they're a good thing.
Alcohol, drug deals, drive,
I was just
in
wondering,
this area.
the sign,
There are
yeah,
elderly neighbors that live on the north end of East Lake Paradise Road by the
there's a
cemetery,
lot of
an
times.
old blocked off road.
before
Sexual
you
activity is common in this area and will only increase with any trail
a lot
system on the north
of
end of East Lake
like,
Paradise. I
fired
know this
out.
to be a fact. I live this
A
every
lot
day.
of them do
Please use
me on
common
here.
sense and respect the
Just
privacy as well as the safety
6,
for
7,
the
8
families that live on the
miles.
north end of East Lake Paradise Road.
See people get stopped, no reason at all, arrest.
Don?
You know, but I'm just, and so what I'm saying is, I was just wondering.
Yeah,
That's,
and then if someone does have a complaint,
They did.
police brutality or something of that sort, then I have access to it right there at my fingertips. I'm like,
and I will say this, you're the first chief in this town that I've ever trusted.
well, thank you.
Got a question, chief, on the
I'll get that.
traffic cameras. How are they working out?
Well, we only have 2 still.
Yep.
So they're great. They're amazing. My phone's going off all the time.
Good.
So, and that's just with 2 of them.
Any anticipation on when the others will hit?
So 12, all the other ones, the reason those 2 got up so fast was because they're on city streets. Now the other ones will be on state routes. And so IDOT has to get involved, and then anytime the state gets involved, it kind of slows things down a little bit. And sure, it's at 4 months from the time we paid for it and ordered it. So we should be getting those.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't know if Angelia is gonna be able to talk to us. Angelia, it's your turn, but, are we getting?
She's typing.
Okay.
Successful bagel.
Okay, I'll read what she has written in a note here. Successful Bagel Bites Outdoor Quilt Show at Lytle Park this weekend. Movies in the Park hosted by the Mattoon Library starts on June the 16th and working on the 4th of July in Bagel Fest. So that's a real quick report from Angelia, because she couldn't give it herself. Any questions anybody has offhand? All right, last one, Alex, Community Development.
Attended a IDOT, basically a technical assistance meeting, where essentially they publicly announced, at least informally, that Mattoon had received a pretty solid grant for the sports complex in terms of roads. And at that meeting, we found out because we received that grant, we actually qualify for additional funding potentially through something called TARP. Which is managed by a really interesting guy, immigrated to the United States, to Mattoon, learned English here at Lakeland College. Just really cool story. And so, we connected over that, and he told us to, consider applying to that program. So really neat connection there. Outside of that, we should be hearing sometime this month about the Kubota grant for the community pump track and garden. That would be at 10th and Richmond. And then, as I said earlier, AmeriCorps app was put in today for the trail system. Susan, I absolutely will be connecting with you tomorrow morning to discuss your concerns. And then outside of that, we have, as Rick mentioned, the partnership with the Illinois Housing Development Authority through a GIS mapping system, an application. We actually had a training on that today. And so we'll probably be getting the inspections office to help out with that, going through the city. We've established 75 zones throughout Mattoon with 125 houses per zone. The survey takes less than, 2 minutes per property. You just kind of rate them. And then for the ones that are extremely dilapidated, that probably should be demolished, repair, demolish order, we're actually going to have all the volunteers take a picture so that we're able to just adequately map where those are in our community. It's really going to help clean up Mattoon in specific areas and help bolster other areas due to the grant application support this data is going to provide. We also officially applied for the Strong Communities program through IDA for $275,000 that would go towards housing rehabs, demolitions, and reimburse us also for those expenses that we've incurred since 2021. That's my update.
I have a question for you. The Michael Park, I saw that they have the lines around.
Yes.
You know when the construction date is it?
It's coming up. It's definitely going to be before September, but we're looking probably late July, something like that. I mean, it's just concrete and grass at that point, so.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Alex? Last part of the meeting is comments by the council, starting with Jim Clausen.
Just a couple things, Mayor. Lake Mattoon, next month, we're going to be putting in riprap for about a 300-foot area. It's going to start at the marina, and it's going to go to the first point of the west campground. So that's going to help us. Starting to have a pretty good issue with soil erosion, so hopefully that's going to do it. Talked to John Wurtzball. Basically, his thoughts on this, we could add 300 feet of that every year just to maintain that around the lake. So I think that's a good thing. I talked to Dean this coming Thursday, one day oil and chip at Dodge Grove Cemetery. So that'll continue to, we really got a nice looking cemetery, and this just adds to the look of that. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Any questions?
I do. Okay. When it comes around next time for dispensary, what's your vote going to be? No, I'm serious, because I've got people that I'm talking to that I'm trying to get dispensers. We're going to be installing new people up here that don't care about us people out here in the city, and that really don't care about this city. You've been on this council about the whole time that I've been in the city of Mattoon.
No.
That someone has come down and fixed anything on my road? Not once.
John, I'm going to interrupt just one more time. We're really supposed to have this discussion. That, yeah.
Are you going to go through the Freedom of Information Act and find out if you should really put something where it should go? And it would have been a good thing for the city of Mattoon to know that gas and age 60 cents cheaper. It's cheaper to drive a cable, get your gas, it is right.
Okay. Next on the list is Commissioner Graven.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Phipps.
I just want to applaud Dean's foresight on the rates for not locking us in and having the foresight of saying, hey, let's write it out for a year because we know, or he anticipated the rates coming down in the summer. So I was really, that was awesome. And also applaud the Public Works Group for the citywide cleanup that we haven't had for 3 years. And I drove by a couple of times and those guys were working their tails off trying to get the line down. And they did it. I was over on the shred side of things at the bank, and I did a lot of sitting around, and these guys were pumping it. So I just really appreciate Public Works and their crew. That's all I have.
Well, Dave, you need to do what I used to do and help them out.
Hey, there you go. Well, I thought about it, but I was too late. I will next year.
Okay, last is myself, just real quick. This last week and even up to today, working on some liquor ordinance forms and requests, filling some seats on 3 committees, the Bicycle, the Tree Commission, Planning Committee. There's 14 empty seats, and I'll be contacting those people. Groundbreaking ceremony in Emerald Acres, of course, was a big turnout. I'm working with Ameren for some assistance out at the sports complex. Reviewed some data for FOIA requests, and last but not least, it's attended the Housing Committee. I'm very happy with the progress that they're making. Commissioner Phipps was also there. I think that's really our next really big project to do, improve the city. So that's what I've been working on. Anybody have any questions for me real quick? Okay. Next item, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I'll motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Phipps, anybody like to second that?
I'll second.
Commissioner Graven, and roll call.
Commissioner Graven,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Okay.